me just tell you something. Let me just tell you something. Homecoming gives me everything that All American don't, and that's just that on that. Like, this episode is very loaded. It's a lot of episodes going on, so if you ain't like to the TV, it's a lot going on. So this, I'm glad I decided to do this doing commercials, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, okay? So I got 5 ads. So I'm gonna try to say all of this in 5 ads. Y'all, did y'all see that text that Damon sent Simone after he just got off the phone with them? Damon, what's up? Damon, how in the world you gonna tell Simone, I hope you all right, this ain't the end of our story, believe that? Damon, why you in there mad at your birth mama and your birth daddy, JR checked Big JR about him not being concerned about him or Damon and their feelings. He worried about why his mama is there and not if they are right. The FBI is questioning Miss Amara, Auntie Amara, about, you know, what's going on. We gonna do X, Y, Z. Who's on the phone? Cam was on the phone. Cam took the phone call. Cam is terrified. He was like, I need to speak with Cam. She was like, you will not speak to Cam without me being present in the room. He was like, that's not how things work. But she was like, as my previous statement stands, I said what I said. So either you gonna talk to Cam or you ain't, because I'm gonna be present. And then Simone's checking on Baby Shay. Baby Shay is fussy, according to Chanel on the phone. There have been multiple threats at other schools, and so now the plot is thickening. Everybody's on the phone trying to call their loved ones, to tell their loved ones, we are marked safe. We are in a safe place, even though it's a lot going on. We are all safe. The school is on lockdown at this point. We don't know what's happening. Keisha called Cam. Cam and answered the phone. Cam, I don't think Cam can talk because of what he knows, what's going on. It's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on. We don't know where, we know where everybody is pretty much at except for Nate. So I guess they're going to be looking for Nate and they ain't going to find him. But we going to see what it is, because they ain't showed Nate yet. So we don't know how he's been affected by the threat so far. But as RA, I guess Keisha is still at the dorm, and she got to make sure, you know, all the rest of the residents are good. And people are still locked in on the tennis court. So I'm just like, Damon, you for real text Simone that? Right? I saw on Twitter that Simone was with Lando, so I already know that's gonna happen. So Damon about to throw up. Damon is about to be sick. Real sick. Like, see? We getting that whole Spell Olivia thing with Damone. Okay, y'all? Just for all y'all who was out there. Lando is clearly gonna be the distraction for the time being. Really. But the show back on. Hey, y'all. It's me, Curly K Glam. I'm gonna do something different today for episode 4 of season 2 of Homecoming. So right now it is a commercial break, and I'm just gonna go ahead and record my thoughts, and I'm just gonna come back in between commercials so I can just have my thoughts all together, and I can just get my thoughts out real time. So the episode just started. We start off in the common area of the dorms. Keisha and Nate are having a conversation about Nico. Keisha is still absolutely not on Nico. Keisha thinks that Nico is the one who put the Yard Yak post, which got the family dinner canceled. Nate is still in denial about it. I can't wait till Nate finds out the truth. Also, Cam is like, absolutely Nico did it because it cost me a free meal and leftovers. And he said, whatever my girl is on, that's what I believe. That's my girl, and I'm sticking beside her. That's what Cam gave. Simone walks out. They asked Simone. Simone was like, I don't do friend drama. Theo walks by, say to everybody but Simone. Keisha was like, oh. Simone was like, that's not my friend. She walks out. We get to a scene with Damon and Thea. Yeah. Damon said something to Simone because Simone is planning Baby Shay's first day with Chanel, Shay's adoptive mother. And he was like, I think it's fire how you're still involved in Baby Shay's life. You have a relationship with the adoptive mom. And then she was like, do you wish your mom and your adoptive mom were like that? And he was just like, I don't know. And so then he goes to the room with Thea, and then Thea was like, why are you worried about your mom? Thea just has a real rough way of saying that she care about somebody. Like, but I guess, like, as far as relationships, she's not that, I ain't gonna say emotionally intelligent, but she's not, this is her first relationship, so she's kind of winging, you know, being in a relationship with Damon versus Damon, I guess, has had girlfriends before, but they start talking, and then, you know, they start kissing, and I think Damon is ready to go to the next level. Thea ain't necessarily there yet. I think it also is because this is her first relationship, and because there might still be a little bit of PTSD about what Kevin did. Damon sees a mark on Thea's arm. She was like, oh, nothing, it's some skincare. She was lying. So we need to know the tea about what Thea got going on, because Thea was missing all last episode. I didn't do a review on last episode, but we just gonna scoot on by that. Get somebody else to do it. Like, I'm just gonna keep going. So Simone is stretching. The mean girls from the tennis team walk by her. Oh, I forgot, Cam got a call. He told Amara, like, you need to skip the meeting. So at this time, Simone and tennis team are on the court. Everybody's evacuating to the tennis court. They start all getting messages. Amara is giving a message while everybody is in the student union, and she's saying they received a phone call with some threats over the phone, and so FBI and Atlanta PD are in the area doing what they need to do to make sure the area is safe. Now, I just want to say that this is based on, like, true events, because if you are unaware, there were those kind of threats going on at HBCUs, multiple HBCUs across the, you know, East Coast, because that's where the majority of HBCUs are at, across the East Coast, eastern part of the United States and the southern part of the United States, are where HBCUs are located. And majority of them did receive that. It went viral on Twitter, it went viral on Instagram, and it went viral on Facebook. So this was actually a thing. One of the schools in my area was actually affected by it, and they received these same threats. So it was speculated to be an act of racial targeting. But we're going to see what the rest of the episode gives. Okay, y'all, we on commercial. I got to hurry up and talk. I got 6 ads. So let me tell you something. I'm watching online. That's why I keep telling you how many ads I got. Okay? So, Nico is trying to rally the students because he is the student president on campus. Nico is sitting there, and Nico is challenging everything he's saying. Him and Nico are having a back and forth. Keisha walks in and breaks it up. Keisha is challenging Nico, and because, you know, Keisha don't like Nico no way. So basically, she held him back and forth. Next thing she turn around, Nico is gone. Simone is having a panic attack because of everything that's going on. She was talking to Chanel, and she heard Baby Shay crying in the background right when Baby Shay was about to speak to her, and she wasn't able to connect back to them because all the cell phone towers and Wi-Fi had gone out on campus. So while she's in the middle of having a panic attack, Lando walks over there and tries to touch her and calm down, soothe her. And she's like, absolutely not. Do not touch me. I'm figuring it out. And so he tells her how he used to have panic attacks when his daddy used to be away at overseas when he was in the service, and how he used to worry about his daddy coming home. So they start this little breathing exercise. So then Simone tries to rally on campus, well, on the tennis courts where everybody is, to kind of, you know, just have a meet other minds with everybody and see where everybody is at. And so they have this intellectual conversation going back and forth, which needs to be had because, it shows the different mental spaces that people are in situations like this, and the conversations that are had about people of color. Okay? Also, how anytime, you know, Black people are all together, there's always this conversation of anything, you know, tragic or serious happens, how, you know, their feelings are always, you know, put on the back burner, and how Black people are not able to process things and be able to feel things because we're always told to be strong, to persevere, hold on, we're going to triumph. And even though parts of that may be true, it's just a simple fact that, like, sometimes you just have to experience what you're feeling, because then when you build up on the inside full of things and you don't let those things out, it becomes, you know, hindering to yourself. And so while she's sitting there talking to the students, you know, what's the girl name? Tootie. She is like being very combative with Simone, I guess, because she still got an attitude with Simone. And so basically she's trying to shrug off this whole situation. And then Thea actually steps in and says something this time and was like, are you desensitized to the fact of what's really going on? And so then the conversation kind of fades. Damon and JR have a conversation about, you know, Damon tries to talk to JR about what's going on with the parents. But then he realized JR is like mentally checked out of the conversation. So then he asked JR for a mental health check. So basically, JR tells Damon about his condition and how he feels like his condition, even though he knows that it's not his fault, but he still feels like it's his fault. His parents split up because there was a lot of back and forth about him being sick, how much money everything was going to cost. You know, it was strenuous on their relationship because they had a sick child. And sometimes when you're going through things like that, instead of banding together, you kind of go at each other's necks. And so he was saying how, you know, them fighting over finances, and JR ended up to Celine's entanglement, and how she ended up having Damon. And then him being sick affected Damon because Damon ended up being, you know, put away and being up for adoption instead of them actually trying to make the family work. And so it's just, you know, it was a very loaded conversation, but it was something that needed to be had because Damon didn't think about it from that perspective. And so he was just saying, like, well, JR was just continuing to say, like, how he feels like everything with him having the aplastic anemia, everything that happened to him, it was a trickle-down effect. Even though everybody don't really want to see it, that was kind of the thing. Well, he feel like that was kind of the thing that, you know, played a huge part into it. And so Damon was like, well, why didn't you ever tell me that? And JR was like, well, I've been, you know, talking to my therapist about it or whatever like that. And so it was just a good conversation that really needed to be had. And he told him that he was scared. And, you know, Damon was just there to comfort him in that time. Oh, and then that officer questioning Cam, Amara walks in and the officer is talking to Cam after she had already told the officer that you should not be talking to him while I'm not present. Because, you know, sometimes when officers are in a room with people of color, they kind of try to manipulate them to agreeing to things that didn't necessarily really happen. And as traumatized as Cam is trying his best not to react in anger, because I feel like he wanted to swing on that police because he was basically questioning him, like, why would I make something like this up? You should be asking me if I'm all right. But you sitting here trying to question me, talking about something, it was a prank. You're trying to get me to admit that it was a prank. So then what the officer ends up telling Amara is that on the other HBCU campus, they actually found a device and they had to disarm it. So there's a chance that there may be a device on Princeton's campus because the caller told Cam that he was going to put some devices on campus because there were too many black students at that school and that he had hid them along West Campus. So the commercial is over, y'all. I know I talked for 6 minutes, but I'm going to be back. Okay, y'all. So this is, you know what? This is a good thing, but this is a lot. Like, this is a lot, okay? I got 7 ass this time. So anyway, I'm just going to start with Damon and the family because this is what this last one just went off. And outside, Marcus told Damon that no thing should be left unsaid. Damon goes to have a conversation with, let me pause this because I'm finna go over my time. Sorry, hold on, let me pause the ad. Marcus told Damon to leave no things unsaid, especially because of the dire situation that they're in. So after having a conversation with JR and Marcus, Damon goes to the table with Celine, JR, and Big JR to say that I know there was a lot of things going on in the family, and I didn't stop to think that for 1 second that with everything going on, y'all were not perfect, and that my adoption should be viewed as a gift because I got to have a good family. They have raised me. They gave me the life. They gave me a good life. They were good to me. So that your decision to actually give me up was a good thing, and that I'm willing to, you know, turn over a new leaf. Who knew that whole spiel would be one-sided and it would go only towards Celine and not toward Big JR? So while JR sitting there thinking, thank you, reconciliation, both of the JRs sitting there thinking reconciliation, little JR is sitting at the table smiling. Big JR gets up after Celine hugs Damon and he says, you know, thank you for whatever you said. And Damon was like, that was only extended towards Celine, not you. And then Big JR was like, oh, well, I know that I have more to atone for. And then Damon was like, but not once did you hit me up. JR, not once did Celine hit you up either. So how could one be said from one but not the other? Just because he was the one who initiated, she went along with it. So I'm just like, okay. So then maybe it's just my lack of understanding, but that's just the way I'm seeing it right now. And so he was just like, I don't just give my forgiveness away. And then I'm like, Damon, that's not how forgiveness works. Forgiveness that's not how forgiveness works. You forgive for you, not for the other person, not to try to string them along. For him searching forgiveness, in his heart, he can settle with it faster than you can. So it's just like, okay, he know he did, and at one point he gonna come to terms with, I messed up, you know. Did he ask Damon for forgiveness? I don't know if he asked Damon for forgiveness, but he asked Damon for his forgiveness. But either way, Damon's not going to fully heal until he forgives Big JR for what he did, regardless. That's just the simple fact, end all be all, because Big JR is there. He is the head coach of the baseball team. He is still the coach. So regardless of how irreverent Damon want to act, at the end of the day, he's still a coach and he's still an authority, in addition to him being his father. Now, Marcus goes to check on Amara again. I don't think Marcus knows that Amara is with Zeke currently, but whatever. So he goes in the office to check on Amara. Amara is shattered, which she should be, because she is responsible for all them students, and there may be an actual like situation going on, and she is nervous. She is freaking out. And so Marcus goes in there and says, well, who's checking on Amara? And she's like, oh, well, don't nobody need to check on me. I need for you to check on the kids. And he was just like, well, I told Damon, don't let things go unsaid. Marcus go in there, confess his love for Amara. So everybody confesses their love for each other. Here we are, episode 4, and everybody's confessing. Okay, so then Thea tries to leave the tennis courts. Simone catches her and was like, girl, what you doing? Come to find out, she was trying to get to Damon. So then, even as hard as that conversation is to have with Thea, because regardless of how Simone feels about Damon, she still knows that Thea's Damon's girlfriend, and Thea does have true feelings for Damon. And so she's trying to go find Damon, and what she said was she was willing to put herself in harm's way because of the person she loved. The same way how Simone tried to not coax everybody, but kind of try to soothe everybody based on what she was feeling, her motherly instinct for Shay. And so all in all, Lando and them try to do an exercise that releases that pent up energy that everybody is feeling by doing dodgeball. But of course, Tootie's giving bite back. So Simone had a conversation with Thea previously and told Thea, I need you to have my back on something. If they see that you doing it, they're going to fall in line and do it. So that was true. Keisha busts in Nate's room, and Nate is not there. And Nico is there. And Keisha asked Nico, where is Nate at? And Nico was like, well, I don't know where she is. And then she was like, well, she has these little tantrums. She just needs space to clear her mind. She'll be back. And then Keisha was just like, but that's the thing. You don't care about Nate or whatever. And then she was just like, you just mad because I know Nate better than you. And she was just like, do you? Because I would hate for her to know that while all this is going on, instead of checking on her, you know, when things go left, you're not going to be there for her. And so then that she slammed the door and walked out. Oh, and I can't forget how, I can't forget that last thing that was said. Cam busts out the room and goes down the steps, and he's just mad. He ain't talking. And Damon was just like, you was talking to the officer, you know, he was like, I became a suspect in less than 5 minutes. He was like, just like, because something might really be going on at the other school, and so there may be a chance that something's really going on. It brings this. So, well, y'all is back on now, so I'll be back. Y'all, I done got caught up. I'm sitting here letting the ass play. Okay, so what happened? Keisha found Nate. Nate was on the elevator. Now, how in the world Nate get on the elevator if, wait, the power ain't out? Duh. I assumed the power was out. I'm like, wait, they don't lock down the elevator. But wait, I thought the elevator didn't work on lockdown, though. Anyway, Nate was on the elevator, nonetheless. Keisha had a conversation with Nate. Basically, Keisha and Nico arguing triggered Nate because Nate remembered her mother and father arguing when they were going through the divorce, and that was hard. Plus the news of what's going on campus with the lockdown. It was just too much for her to process, and Keisha was like, Nico was right. And then Nate was like, Nico is a good guy inside, like, out, you know, regardless of everything on the outside, the middle is good or whatever. And so Keisha was just, I guess, that kind of opened her to be open to the idea of Nico again, even though I still think Nico is trash. I think it's something that Nate not seeing because Nate is being a person in love that don't want to see. The FBI found the person with the devices, and he informs Amara that the person was 2 blocks away, meaning they had just left the school, East Lenox, and it was on their way to Princeton. So they hadn't actually got to Princeton yet, so that was a good thing. Simone and Lando bond over dodgeball. They ended up being the last 2 people left. Of course, the writers are going to try to paint this love story, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they're going to use dodgeball to do it. She can't find her phone. Linda lets her use her phone to call Shay. And what else? Oh, Big JR goes up to Damon and was like, I heard what you said. I'm going to be at this diner on Lenox every Wednesday at 7 until you show up, till you ready. JR has a conversation with Damon. Damon tells him there's one more person that I need closure with, and that was his dad, because, you know, his dad is suffering from Alzheimer's, and he can't really hold his dad accountable, so I guess he was just going to try his best to talk to his daddy, and his dad was just going to be in the room, because he wasn't going to be able to process with Alzheimer's. He wasn't going to be able to process this conversation or remember it anyway, so I guess he was just going to get his feelings out just to get them out. But his aide told him that, you know, today wasn't a good day for him to talk or whatever, so he said, okay. What else? I think that's all that happened in that middle part. So yeah, I'll be back. Okay, y'all, this is the final clip. That episode was long. I don't know, it's just me. That was loaded. It was good, but it was real loaded. Oh, I'm glad that they actually got to show out. They got to act out the end part of the episode. Showing Auntie Amara go through the emotions that come with being responsible like that for that many lives, and how after she made sure everybody was good and that she could finally catch her breath, that she just cried. She had to let it out. And even though Marcus did text her to check on her, and she was just like, I don't need, you know, you to check on me. Cam was there as her assistant to make sure that she didn't need anything else. And he could see that, you know, she was like breaking down, and he just sat there with her and just let her cry and let him get his feelings out too. Simone gets back to campus. Her and Thea, you know, leave each other, and Thea's on her way to Damon, and Simone is walking back to the dorms, and she walks in on Keisha, Nate, and Nico all sitting together, and Nate was just basically like, you know, it made some of us stronger. And then Simone just asked Keisha straight up, girl. And she looked at her and said, girl. No, but seriously though, she was like, girl, so we like Nico now? And she was like, girl, no. She was just like, I'm just here because clearly Nate is not thinking straight, and, you know, she gonna end up getting her feelings real hurt real bad. And so I'm just sticking around close just to be there when it happens. And I hated to hear that, just because of, you know, it brought back memories of some things that I went through with some of my friends that happened in my life. And just to be that friend, it is extremely painful, because friends are, sometimes I feel like a friendship with somebody can be, I feel like a friendship with somebody can have more effect on your life than being in an intimate, like, lover relationship. Like, sometimes I know you have to let your friends go through things, but sometimes being there is so hard, and that's a conversation that a lot of people don't have, because people just jump down people's throat and be like, well, you need to be there for your friend regardless. You need to be there for your friend regardless. And sometimes it's hard to be there for your friend regardless, because you know your friend is making a mistake. And that's the hard, it's not even a mistake. A mistake is something that you can't avoid happening. But it's because of bad decisions. Like, it's hurtful. And then you don't want to leave your friend there and not abandon them, but you don't want to leave the friendship and be like, well, do whatever you want to do. I just won't be here for you to do it. Because then they're going to feel like when they are going through something, they're not going to have nobody. So it's just like prayer. I'm telling you, prayer. You got to pray, because it's hard. It's hard, and it's very emotional. Like, it was hard for me to watch that, because I'm just like, God, Nate, God, like, why can't you just see? But anyway, enough about me and my sob story. I'm just playing. It ain't no sob story. I read the Power Words, Lord. That's a bad thing. That's a bad confession to make. But anywho, Damon bumps into Simone and asks Simone, you know, you good? Did you get my message? I'm like, I don't, so you just gonna call her bluff right now, okay? Simone was like, no, I ain't checked my phone. I got so many messages I gotta read. He was like, oh, no big deal. So you knew what was in the text, and she had no idea. So she pulls her phone out now and was smiling, gave a little smiles, because anyway, that was just me having an epiphany. She gave a little smiles to Damon, because she was like, oh, I know what's really going on. Damon is confused. Okay, so we're just going to skip past everything else. No, I'm not. JR, mama gave him a bucket list. Boom. Damon. So Damon is on his way to Thea, because he said, I know Thea is looking for me. And he goes to Thea and tells Thea he loves her. And you know what? Simone, Damon, and Thea are turning into Liv, Spencer, and Layla all over again. It's the same formula. It's the same thing. It's turning to that all over again, because Simone is friends with Damon the same way Olivia was friends with Spencer. And how even though Thea knew Simone liked Damon, the only difference between Simone and Thea and Layla and Olivia is because Olivia and Layla were best friends. Layla knew that Liv liked Spencer and had feelings for him, but she still pursued him. Thea and Damon got together over a trauma bond, which is a slightly different from, well, they had trauma too in All American, so I can't even really say that much of a difference, but still. Their relationship kind of started over a trauma bond. And so now that Damon is telling Thea that he loves her, he was like, oh, she was like, oh, I love you too. And Thea was still a virgin. So I'm thinking Thea might have became a woman that day. And I can't be mature for nothing. Okay, anywho. I think Thea might have became a woman that day. And I just feel a way about that because Damon is not a player. He's not. But it's just the way he going about navigating his feelings for both Simone and Thea are bad. Because Thea and her, this being her first time, her getting hurt is going to affect her more in the long run than if it would have happened to Simone. Because Simone has already experienced this kind of level of relationship with Jordan. But nonetheless, he was like, this is not the end of our story. Why would you send somebody that? Because he know that, okay, well, I might be with Thea for a while. I might be with Thea for the moment. But just know me and you are in game. Because this is not the end of our story. And the crazy thing is, even though I ain't watched All American yet, Liv said that same thing to Spencer when Spencer broke over her in the beginning of season 5. So I'm just like, y'all in the end of these love stories. Foreshadowing, okay? But the thing of the matter is, it's just the fact that Damon told her that. And I'm just like, Damon, you in a whole relationship with somebody that's not Simone. So I just, I don't even like Thea, but poor Thea. Poor Thea. And my epiphany was, Simone, I'm thinking, this is just me thinking, Simone read that message from Damon and got excited. So when she saw Lando, was that moment with her and Lando kind of like that moment Layla had with Spencer after he had just told Liv that he loved her and that he was in love with her and he cared about her deeply and he wanted to be with her, but he still hooked up with Layla regardless? Was that moment? Because to me, like looking back, that's what it was giving. And you know, I don't want y'all here for Lamone. I understand y'all here for Lamone and everything, and it's good for the story arc. But Lando gonna get his feelings hurt, and then it's just messy because him and Damon are teammates. Like, well, Simone and Thea are teammates, but is they building another vortex? Like, seriously, are they building another vortex? Like, legit. Like, what's up? And so Simone, Lando come to the door and like, girl, you good? She was like, yeah, why are you here? He's like, because you still have my phone. And to me, Lando is a man who go after what he want. I ain't gonna say Damon didn't go after Simone because he wanted her, but he had Jordan kind of in the way. But now ain't nobody in the way. And so, just like he been saying all the other slick stuff to Simone, that boy gave her that phone on purpose, knowing that she was gonna forget that she had the phone just so he could come to her room to see if she wanted to go out. Cause he was like, "You want to go out?" She was like, "Nah," and then they hooked up. So I'm just like, it's giving calculated, but it could have been spontaneous. I don't know. It could have just been spur of the moment, you know. But I think he expected to ask her to go out. I don't think he expected the whole hooking up part, because he don't really know Simone. Simone don't really know him. But then again, like I said, Simone could have had all that built up energy from the trauma of the day. Like, she could have just, you know, it was a lot. She was feeling a lot emotionally. And then they kind of had that trauma bond type situation, because whether we want to look at it as trauma or not, that was a traumatic experience, being on lockdown because of something like that. And then they all experienced it together. And then, like, it could have been that. And then she's standing there looking, because, you know, she was looking at Baby Shake pictures from school that day. And then, you know, in addition to David telling her that, like, she just could have been a whirlwind full of emotions, and just boom, they just, you know. Y'all, that was a lot. I probably talked y'all head off, but nonetheless, please enjoy this review. Please laugh with me, bond with me, relate with me, differentiate with me, you know, whether you want to agree what I said or not. But yeah, watch this review, child. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I'll be back next week with episode 5.